Okay, so we are moving on to chapter 6 today, which is called The Frenchman. They were there waiting on the veranda, his mother in her nightgown, his father in his hat, his horse saddled, ready to come after him. "I've set him free," Bertie cried. "I've set him free so he won't ever have to live behind bars." He was sent to his room at once, where he threw himself on his bed and buried his face in his pillow. Day after day his father went out looking for the white lion, but each evening he came back empty-handed and blazing with fury. "What'll I tell the Frenchman when he comes in, hey? Did you for 1 minute think of that, Bertie? Did you? I should strap you. Any father worth his salt would strap you." But he didn't. Bertie spent all day and every day at the fence, or up his tree in the compound, or at his bedroom window, his eyes scanning the veld for anything white moving through the grass. He prayed at his bedside every night until his knees were numb, prayed that his white lion would learn how to kill, would somehow find enough to eat, would avoid the hyenas and other lions too, come to that. Above all, he prayed that he would not come back, at least not until the Frenchman from the circus had come and gone. The day the Frenchman came, it rained, the first rain for months it seemed. Bertie watched him as he stood there, dripping on the veranda, his thumb hooked into his waistcoat pocket, as Bertie's father broke the news that there was no white lion to collect, that he had escaped. That was the moment when Bertie's mother put her hand to her throat, cried out and pointed. The white lion was wandering through the open compound gate, yowling pitifully. Bertie ran to him and fell on his knees and held him. The lion was soaked to the skin and trembling. He was panting with hunger, and so thin that you could see his rib cage. They all helped to rub him down, and then looked on as he ate rapidly. "Incroyable! Magnifique!" said the Frenchman. "And white, just as you said, white like the snow, and tame too. He will be the star of my circus. I shall call him Le Prince Blanc, the White Prince. He will have all he needs, all he wants, fresh meat every day, fresh straw every night. I love my animals, you know. They are my family, and this lion of yours, he will be my favourite son. Have no fear, young man. I promise you that he will never be hungry again." He put his hand on his heart. "As God is my witness, I promise it." Bertie looked up into the Frenchman's face. It was a kind face, not smiling, yet earnest and trustworthy. But even so, it did not make Bertie feel any better. "There, you see," said Bertie's mother. "He'll be happy, and that's all that matters, Bertie, isn't it?" Bertie knew that there was no point in begging. He knew now that the lion could never survive on his own in the wild, that he would have to go with the Frenchman. There was nothing else for it. That night, as they lay in the dark, together side by side, Bertie made him a last promise. "I will find you," he whispered. "Always remember that I will find you. I promise I will." The next morning the Frenchman shook hands with Bertie on the veranda and said goodbye. "He'll be fine. Don't you worry. And one day I'll come to France to see my circus, Le Cirque Merlot. It is the best circus in all of France." When they left, the white lion in a wooden crate rocking from side to side in the back of the Frenchman's wagon, Bertie watched until the wagon disappeared from view. A few months later, Bertie found himself on a ship steaming out of Cape Town, bound for England and school and a new life. As the last of Table Mountain vanished in a heat haze, he said goodbye to Africa and was not at all unhappy. He had his mother with him, for the time being at least. And after all, England was much nearer France than Africa was. Much nearer. Okay, that's the end of that chapter. Quite a short chapter. So question 1, what was Bertie's punishment for releasing the cub? Question 2, what do you think Bertie prayed for each night? Question 3, what 3 clues in the text tell you that the lion was starving? Question 4, what did the Frenchman promise the lion? And question 5, what final promise did Bertie make to the lion? There are your sentence stems. Pause while you answer. Make sure you're answering in full sentences. Okay, so your answers. Bertie's punishment for releasing the cub was that he was sent to his room. I think Bertie prayed each night to ask God to look after the lion cub. The three clues in the text that tell us the lion was starving are that he returned trembling, he was panting with hunger, and he was so thin you could see his rib cage. It also says that he ate ravenously. When they gave him some food, he ate ravenously, which means he was really, really hungry. Okay, question 4. The Frenchman promised the lion fresh meat every day and fresh straw every night. And the final promise, Bertie's final promise to the lion, was that he would find him again. Okay, question 6. What was the weather like when the Frenchman came? Why do you think Michael Morpurgo chose this weather? What does it signify? Okay, so think about that one. Question 7. Do you think Bertie trusts the Frenchman? Why do you think this? Question 8. Why was Bertie not unhappy to say goodbye to Africa? Use the text to help you. Okay, so page 51. That was. Pause the video while you have a go at answering those. Okay, so question 6. The weather, we've got down here, the day the Frenchman came, it rained, the first in months. Okay, so the first part of the question would be, the weather was raining when the Frenchman came. Now, using your skills of reading, and as the reader, and you guys know, because you are all authors in your writing, why do you think Michael Morpurgo chose this weather? Have a think. Okay. I think he chose this weather because it reflects how the boy was feeling. Okay. He was feeling miserable and he was feeling sad and grey and dull. Okay. It reflects how the boy and perhaps the lion are feeling. Okay. If it was a sunny day, and it was nice and bright and sunny, it gives us the impression that the characters might be happy, okay? But the fact that it's raining, it's dull and it's gloomy, makes us think as the reader that the boy is going to be really sad, okay? So he uses it for effect. Does Bertie trust the Frenchman? Okay, it says here, Bertie looked up into the Frenchman's face. It was a kind face, not smiling, yet earnest and trustworthy. Okay, so I think if I was answering this question, I would have answered it. I think that Bertie does trust the Frenchman because he says that he had a kind face, he was trustworthy, and he put his hand on his heart and he promised, we can see that here, he promised to Bertie that he would look after the lion. However, it says here, that still does not make Bertie feel any better. So I would answer that. I think Bertie does trust the Frenchman because of these reasons down here, but it still does not make Bertie feel any better about parting with the lion. Okay. And question 8, why was Bertie not unhappy to say goodbye to Africa? So not unhappy, that means he wasn't feeling sad about it. Okay. It says it, where was it? Here. As he said goodbye to Africa and was not at all unhappy. Okay. So it means actually he was probably quite looking forward to it. Okay. One of the reasons is he had his mother with him. And we know from earlier in the text that he's got a close relationship with his mum. Okay. And the last sentence, the last sentence says England was much nearer France than Africa was, much nearer. Why does that bit make a difference? Think about it. Where's the circus happening? That's right, the circus is happening in France. So Bertie is seeing this as it's part of his trip to get to France, where he will go and he will be able to find the lion again. Okay, so that's one of the reasons why he's not unhappy to be leaving Africa.
Good morning, guys. I hope you got on all right yesterday with the time, and I hope you've been practicing it at home and that has helped. We're just going to mark through yesterday's. I'm going to type it out so I can squeeze it in a little bit better and maybe do it a bit neater for you. Okay, we're just going to fly through these times then, and then we'll move on to today's learning. Now remember, if you do get stuck, that's absolutely fine. Please do just pause it though and check that you've understood it and have a little practice yourself at counting minutes past. Okay, so this is just looking at minutes past. So your first one then was 4:30. Okay, your next one was a quarter. Your minute hand is the green one on these, and you were a quarter of the way around to the clock, so it's 9:15. This one was bang on 6. Oh gosh, sorry, 6:00. Okay, so well done if you got those first 3 correct. Okay, your next ones where it's a little bit trickier, because it wasn't those nice sort of o'clock, quarter past, half past, ones that are a little bit different. This is where you had to remember to count in 5 starting at the top of the clock. So this one was, you could have put 5 past or 5 minutes past, I don't mind. I'm just going to do 5 past. 8. Then it was 10 past 5 or 10 minutes past 5. And then the last one is 25 past 11. Okay, so well done if you got those, guys. If you haven't, just have a look, pause it now, and just can you work out why it is those answers? So remember, we're counting in 5s because within each jump in between the hour numbers is 5 minutes. Okay, right, so you'll secure it then. Hopefully you disagreed with Jason and you knew that he was incorrect, so you may have said something like, no, Jason is not correct because the minute hand is showing 30 minutes past. It is 8:30. Okay, so he thinks that the minute hand, and then you could have also expanded. You could have said the numbers, keep saying, represent the hour, not the minutes. Okay, so that long minute hand is representing minutes, not hours, but he's thinking, oh, because it's pointing to a 6, it must be 8:06. Okay, but remember, your minute hand doesn't care about the hours. It's not showing you the hours. It's trying to show you the minutes, the teeny tiny minutes in between. Okay, so if your answer is something along those lines, then well done. If you put that the numbers represent, or the numbers are showing you the hours, not the minutes, and he's got confused with that, then fantastic. That would be exactly what I'd be looking for. So well done. If you knew that he wasn't correct though, and you told me that it's because it's 8:30, that's good as well. Well done. Okay, so for today then, well, yesterday we looked at minutes past the hour, so now we're going to explore minutes to the hour. This is where it can sometimes get a bit confusing, but we're going to do it nice and slowly. So pause it now so you can write the date and the LO. Okay, so here is our clock. What we're going to do is just recap on the minutes. I've done it nice and big so you can see those minutes nice and clearly. Okay, so remember we start when we're looking at minutes. Hang on, what do I want to tell you? Right, so when it's 8 o'clock, our minute hand has gone all the way around and back to 0. Okay, it's gone around the clock to 60 minutes. There's 60 of these teeny tiny little minutes. Okay, each dot represents a minute. The numbers represent the hours. Okay, so that's why we have 2 hands on the clock. One is telling us the minutes, so it touches the minutes, it's showing us the minutes, and one is just showing us the hours. All right, now we've been looking at minutes past. Okay, so when our minute hand was on this side of the clock, okay, it was minutes past. So if our minute hand was anywhere on this side of the clock, we said it was however many minutes past. It was either o'clock here, then it was 5 past, 10 past, quarter past, 20 past, 25 past, or half past. Okay, those are the main ones. Of course, we can have 1 minute past, 2 minutes past, or we can have 5, 6 minutes past, 7 minutes past, or 14 minutes past. We can have all of those, but we're going to just focus on those main increments of 5 minutes past. That's what we did yesterday. Today, we're going to be looking at minutes to. Okay, and when we look at minutes to the hour, that is if our minute hand has gone past the 6 and is anywhere on this side of the clock. Because we've gone over halfway, we start to look at the future. We start to look at how close we are to the next hour. Okay, we're closer to the next hour than we are to the hour that's just been. Okay, so today our minute hand will be only on this side of the clock because we're looking at minutes to. It's how many minutes left to the next hour. How many minutes is it until it is the next hour? Okay, that's what it means when we talk about minutes to. Okay, so, have we gone on to the next one? Oh, no, we can go back a bit. Okay, so we're going to start with, you know what, I'm going to start with it being very nearly 1 o'clock. Okay, so I've got my hour hand there. I'm going to get my minute hand out. And my minute hand is going to be all the way there, very, very close to 1 o'clock. Okay? But now what I want you to do is have a little look. How many minutes will it be until it gets to 1 o'clock? Okay, so this is the jump that we've got to make. Our minute hand has to go from where it is now to here. How many minutes will that be? What will that jump be? On these clock figures are nice and big. We can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 minutes, but we also know there's 5 in between each of these big numbers. Okay, so that is 5 minutes. 5 to what? What hour is it going to be? We are going towards 1 o'clock. So it's 5 to 1. Okay, 5 minutes to 1, because in 5 minutes' time, it will become 1 o'clock. Okay, after 5 minutes, that's where our minute hand will be, and it'll be 1 o'clock. So now if I have my minute hand here, I'll get my hour hand back out as well. So again, nearly at 1 o'clock, but not quite. Okay, now my minute hand, I'm going backwards in time. How many minutes will it be until my minute hand gets to the o'clock? Okay, gets to 0, starts again. So have a look, I'm here. How many minutes is it going to be until 1 o'clock? So there's 5 minutes in each of those jumps. We've got 5, 10. So this is the only one where you think, and it says 10 there, but please, please, please don't use that as a way to remember it, because that's just going to get you mixed up. We're trying to remember that those numbers only represent hours. They have nothing, they're not representing minutes at all. Okay, it just so happens that there's a 10 there. So this would be 10 minutes to 1. Okay, 10 to 1. 10 to 1. And that's around about the time you start getting ready to come back after lunch, back to class. Okay. Oh, no, I want to go back again. Sorry, I'm not ready for that yet. So that was 10 to. Now I'm going to go back again in time, and we're going to go here. Now I want you to remember what was special about when we were looking at minutes past. What was it when our minute hand was pointing to here? When it was 15 minutes past. We didn't say 15 minutes past. What was it? It was quarter past. Well, now, when we get to here, how much left of the clock is there to get round? How much is left? It's a quarter again. Okay, so when our minute hand is here, instead of saying 15 to 1, you probably have never even heard someone say that as a time, it's 15 to 1. It's actually quarter to 1. Okay, quarter to 1 o'clock. So yes, it's 15 minutes left. Okay, 5, 10, 15. Okay, quarter to 1. All right, so now for this one, Move it back another 5 minutes. Oh, there we go. Okay, how many minutes to 1 o'clock is it now? How many minutes to 1? If we're not sure, I'm going to go from here and see how many minutes is left until it's 1 o'clock. Remember, each jump is worth 5 minutes. 5, 10, 15, 20. Okay, so it's 20 minutes until 1 o'clock. So we had 5 to, 10 to, quarter to, which is 15, and now we're at 22. 20 to 1. Okay, 20 minutes until 1 o'clock. If I move it back into 5 minutes again, now we're here. How many minutes left would it be until 1 o'clock? Okay, so we can count in fives again. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 until our minute hand gets back to 0 onto o'clock. Okay, so this is 25 to 1. Okay, 25 to 1. And that is it. You look at 25 to, 22, quarter to, which is also 15, okay, 10 to, 5 to. So you're just counting down in fives. Now remember, this is half past, this is still past, okay. Then all of these little numbers, that will be 26 to, 27 to, 28 to, 29. Okay, so we start 25 to, 22, quarter to, 10 to, 5 to. So count down in fives, okay? Or you can start from 11, so 5 to, 10 to, quarter to, 20 to, 25 to. So now let's see if we can remember some of those. So have a look. You don't have to write these in your book. It's just a chance for you to practice now. Now, if you're not sure on these, then that means you're not ready for your do it yet, and you need to perhaps go back and maybe re-watch some of the other bits, some of the other video, okay, to help you, and then have another go at this. All right, so if you're looking at it now and thinking, oh my goodness, I don't know where to start, because the hour hand isn't going to be the same on all of these. I've kept the same hour hands on the others, just so you focus on the minutes. But that is the next bit that would be quite tricky, is working out which hour it's going to be next. We've been looking at which hour it is within for yesterday's, when we're looking at minutes past. We're now looking at which hour it's going to be at, which hour is the next one. So let's start with the first clock. Okay, look at where your minute hand is. How many minutes will it be until our minute hand gets back to the top on o'clock? Okay, so you're going to count in fives from your minute hand. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Okay, so that one is 25 to what? So now this is the tricky bit. Look at your hour hand. At the moment, your hour hand is in between 12 and 1. Because we're looking at minutes 2, we're looking at the future. So remember, we go this way around the clock. Okay, it's clockwise. So which hour hand are we going to be touching next? The 1. Okay, so it's 25 to 1. The next one, look where your minute hand is. We're here. Okay, we're past halfway, so we're going to look at minutes 2 now. We've gone past halfway, so we're looking at minutes 2. Okay, so you're going to count in fives. 5, 10, 15, 20, and that'll be o'clock. Okay, so this one is 20 minutes to, and I'll check your hour hands. Which hour are we going towards now? Which will be our next hour that we touch? 2 o'clock. 20 to 2. Now for the next one, this is that tricky one, okay? To remember, we are just a quarter of the way left. Now I've just got a quarter of the clock left, all right? So we've just got that little bit left. Now remember that there are 60 minutes altogether in 1 hour. If we half 60, we get 30, and we half it again, we get 15. So a quarter of 60 is 15. So a quarter of an hour is 15 minutes. We've got 15 minutes left. So we've got a quarter left. It is quarter, my handwriting. 2, and that's really, really tricky. Look at your hour hands. It is so nearly there. It's not on it just yet, but what is the hour we are going to be on? It is very nearly at 9, so it's 9:15. Okay, last one then. No, sorry, last 2. Look where your minute hand is. How many minutes are left until the next hour? Okay, so until we get to the top again, o'clock, we've got 5:10. Okay, that one is 10:02, and now check your hour hands. Where are we nearly at? Very nearly at the 6, very nearly at 6 o'clock, so it's 10:06. Now we're on the last one, so look at your minute hands, it's touching the minutes. How many minutes left? Very nearly there, it's 5:02. 5:02, and now check your hour hands. We are so close to o'clock. We've only got 5 minutes until it's o'clock. So our hour hand is pretty much nearly fully on the hour. So it's nearly on 6. It's 5 to 6. Okay, so remember, if you struggled with that, please do go rewind it and have another little look at how we talked about it all. Okay? Right, so this is your do it now. If you feel ready for your do it, then please go ahead. All I want you to do is write what the time that is being shown in your book. Okay? So just write number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can tell me what time is being shown. And then number 6, it says, a clock shows the time 25 minutes to 8. What number is the minute hand pointing at? So which big number will the minute hand be pointing at if it's showing 25 minutes to 8? Is it going to be the 8 or the 7? So it's giving you a little clue there. Which number will it be pointing at? Okay, so that's your do it. Have a go now. Remember to be careful with your hour hand as well. Which hour is it going towards? Now, all of these will be minutes to. None of them are minutes past. They are all minutes to. Okay? So have a go at that, and when you're ready to do your secure it, you can unpause it. Okay, well done, guys. Hopefully you got on all right with that. Here is your secure it for today. You've got 2 questions here to challenge you a bit if you would like it. So, number 1, here are 2 clocks. Which time underneath does not match either clock? So which of those is the odd one out? A, B or C? Which one is the odd one out? So you've got 2 clocks there. A says 25 minutes to 4. B says 20 minutes past 7. And C says 10 minutes past 10. So you've got a mixture, I'm just going to highlight it for you, of past and to there. So that says 2, 4, past 7 and past 10. So just keep an eye out for whether it's minutes past or minutes to. Remember, if it's gone past halfway, then it's minutes to. Number 2, George, I've never seen that spelling of George before. George's choir is performing at 4 o'clock. What time should they be on stage? If they've got to be on stage for 4 o'clock, they're going to get there a little bit early, aren't they? If the choir is performing at 4 o'clock, what time do they need to be on the stage? So ready to sing at 4 o'clock. So have a look at those 2 clocks. Now, at first glance, they look exactly the same. They are not. Their minute hand is in the same place, but look carefully at the hour hand. Which one are they going to want to be there? If you get the wrong one, then they might miss their performance. Okay, so A or B, and can you explain why? So you can simply explain why just by telling me what time the other one shows and why you don't want to be on the stage at that time. Okay, good luck with this, guys. So again, same as yesterday. If this has helped, and if you've got it, do let me know. That'd be really helpful. Now I've got tomorrow's lesson already ready for you, but if you would like, perhaps maybe next week another practice at this, that's fine. I can do that, or I can send you some other ones to practice at home if that is helpful, if you want to go over these again. Okay, good luck, guys. See you soon.
Hi everyone, welcome to your writing session for today. We are going to be kicking off this session with our warm-up activity. So remembering that we're working on verb tense. So we're looking at present tense and past tense. So I've given you 2 present tense sentences today. My dad is weeding the garden path and the sun is shining brightly. What I'd like you to do is pause the video, turn it into the past tense. Remembering if you want to, you can use the word yesterday. So my dad is weeding the path becomes yesterday my dad Have a little go, see what you come up with, and come back to me with the answers. Okay, how did you get on there? Let's have a little look, see if you managed to do this. So we've got my dad is weeding the garden path, which is my dad weeded the garden path. You might have done that past progressive tense that we were working on, and you might have put my dad was weeding the garden path, which would also be correct. You've got the sun is shining brightly to the sun shone brightly. Now that was your tricky one for today, because that is not our regular verb, it's our irregular verb. So shining becomes shone. So well done if you managed to catch both of those today. Really good going. So like we were working on yesterday, we're going to be thinking about our own information texts today, and we're going to be starting to plan our own information text. We're going to be looking at making notes particularly today. So you're going to research some facts and information, and your text is going to be about lions, particularly the white lion cub in the butterfly lion text, but also you can do it on any lions that you wish to. You're going to be reading some information texts. We're going to be making notes about interesting facts which we can include in our reports, and we're going to organise our information into paragraphs so we make it easier for the reader to navigate and for us to write when we come to that tomorrow. So first of all, we're going to have a look at a text. So this information comes from the website that I'm going to get you to look at later, and I searched for whales, whereas you're going to search for lions, okay? And we're going to be researching and planning our own information text today. So we're going to have a read through of the information, and then we're going to spot which bits we want to include in our notes, and then I'm going to show you how to write notes about this as well, okay? So, what is a whale? Whales are the world's biggest animals. They look like fish, but are warm-blooded mammals that breathe air with their lungs. They have flippers instead of arms or front legs, which they swim with. They also have a thick layer of fat under the skin called blubber. This keeps them warm in the cold water. Like most mammals, whales give birth to live young. All mammals suckle their young with milk. There are two kinds of whale, toothed whales and baleen whales. Toothed whales have teeth in their mouth, while baleen whales have rows of horny plates in the place of teeth, called baleen. Toothed whales belong to a group that includes dolphins and porpoises. Okay? So let's try and spot a few interesting facts that we might want to take into our own writing when we come to write about this. So I think a really interesting fact is that they're the world's biggest animals. I think we've got to conclude that. I think that's really engaging for our reader. I also think that I need to know that they're mammals, and I like this idea that they're being warm-blooded mammals. I blow air with their lungs. I think I'm going to pick flippers. I also want to conclude this information about blubber. I would like to conclude toothed whales and baleen whales. I would like to include that they are the same family as dolphins and porpoises, and that they've got a real powerful tail. I think I've picked that out of the diagram as well. Okay, so now let's look at how we turn this bit of reading that we've done and these facts that I've highlighted here into some notes. Okay, so now we're on to writing our notes up. So it's really, really important when you're writing your notes today that you don't just copy out all of the facts and information from the text that you are reading, okay? Because we want it to be your writing and the way that you present it, not what you've read. So what we want today is just a few words, a few phrases to help us. So if I have a look at this here, so blubber is one of the things that I want to talk about. Okay, so I might write down the word blubber, being a key bit of technical vocabulary that we were looking at before, and it's something that I want to explain, blubber, but I'll need to know what that means when I come to write about it. So it's a thick layer of fat under skin, okay? So I don't write down all of the words in the sentence. I don't write it down as a whole sentence, but I do include the bits of information that I need, okay? And remembering from the picture, I had that they had powerful flippers. I'm going to put biggest animal. I'm then going to go for the fact that they're mammals and that means that they are warm-blooded. But it also tells me that they breathe air and that they have babies. They give birth to live young, so I'm going to write those as part of my facts as well. Breathe air, have babies. I think that will help me when I come to write my text tomorrow. And I'm also going to put family is dolphins. And I'm going to check this spelling because it's not a word that I know. Porpoises. And it's really important that I copy those technical words down correctly because I want to be able to spell them correctly when I put them into my own text, okay? So from this whole section that I've got here, these are the facts that I've written down to help me with my notes when I'm writing them up tomorrow. So blubber, thick layer of fat under skin, powerful flippers, biggest animal, mammals, warm-blooded, breathe air, have babies, family, dolphins and porpoises. And that's all the information I'm going to take from this section. I'm then going to go back onto another section and come up with some notes from that section as well. Okay, let's go back and find out what your task then is for today. Okay, so let's have a look what we're going to want you to do today. So, like I said to you at the start, you are going to be writing your own information text tomorrow, and that information text is going to be all about lions. So what I'd like you to do today is you're going to go to this website. So down here, www.dkfindout.com, and I'd like you to search for lions for me, okay? So what I'm going to ask you to do in terms of make your notes is to grab yourself a piece of paper and fold it into four, okay? Into 4 quarters, and then within each quarter, I want you to think about what you want to find out. What are your titles going to be? So you could use these ones. What do lions look like? What do lions eat? Where do lions live? Are lions endangered? Or you could find out that actually you want to find out how lions live, or baby lions, or you want to look at something completely different. So you decide what your 4 are going to be. Put those onto your piece of paper. Head to the DK website and read your information, and then I'd like you to make your notes just like I made my notes. So just keywords, facts, information, not whole sentences, but gather all of the information that you're going to need so that we can write our information text tomorrow, okay? So this is your task for today, to fold a piece of paper into quarters, visit the DK Kids website and research information on lions, decide upon your 4 sections of information text and write 1 in each of your parts on your piece of paper. And then write your facts as notes in the correct section of your grid to help you write your information text tomorrow. So you're going to pause this video now, go ahead and find out all of your information, and then you can come back when you're ready to find out more about your connected curriculum for today. Okay? So go to this website now, www.dkfindout.com. Enjoy! Okay, so I hope you've managed to get lots and lots of facts and information about lions ready for your report tomorrow. If you didn't get all of your information from DK Find Out, if you got it from other books or sources of information or anywhere else you wanted to look, then that's absolutely fine as well, as long as tomorrow you are ready to write your non-chronological report on lions, okay? So now on to our connected curriculum for today. We're now on to Thursday, so we've got one more day of our coastlines project. Remembering we're finding out about why we have different shapes of coastlines in the UK. There's an essential task, so there's some videos to watch, there's some reading to do linked to those essential tasks. And then if you want to do something extra, you could write us our newspaper report, you could create a model, you could do an explanation text for us, or even an explaining video if you'd like to. Or you could write this letter to the Prime Minister about sea defences. Whatever you decide to do, please do share it with us. We can't wait to see what you've been working on this week and how you found all of the work on coastlines. Have a brilliant, brilliant end of the day, and we'll see you with more learning tomorrow. Bye-bye, Year 3 and 4.